What's up? It's your girl Dynamite Dani Mo here on Wrestling Road Stories. What's up, dude?
All right, awesome. I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for being with me. I'm so excited to have you on here. Yeah, always fun. It's been almost 3 years of me watching you guys wrestle. I
Wow.
know, right?
Okay.
It's been so wild. So yeah, I've enjoyed every minute of it. You guys are so much fun, especially like watching you and like one of the first times I saw you. It wasn't the first, but one of my favorite times was actually, I think it was last year, October.
Okay.
And you came out in the Freddy gear that you actually recently posted. I was like, that's
XWW.
so fun. Yeah, it was XWW. It was so fun. I enjoyed that a lot.
That was the first time I ever dressed up in a costume to wrestle, like outside of my regular gear. And I'm like, this is kind of cool. But it was literally so hard to breathe in that. So
I bet. Yeah, because that was just like a standard rubber, like Halloween.
Yeah, that was like a really nice mask. That was a really, really, really good mask.
I saw you recently post you doing that, like you're riding on the bike. I was like, and it just immediately brought me back to that day. So yeah, lots of fun. All right, so we're gonna start off. If you would, what would you consider your worst road story?
Worst road story.
Yep.
Oh gosh. Well, I don't know if I have a specific like worst, like even actually no, take that back. Okay. It's not even like the worst in like the craziest way, but we were on our way to XWW and we switched out. Facade was driving, I was sleeping in the passenger side, and we're in North Carolina. We're probably like 40 minutes from the show. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? Because it like a huge loud sound happened. I'm like, what the F is going on? And I'm like freaking out. Facade's yelling at me. And I'm like, what is happening? There was a U-Haul truck. So in North Carolina, the fast lane and the easy pass lane is just separated by pylons. And this U-Haul truck swerved into the lane that we were in, which is like the easy pass lane, broke like 6 pylons. They're flying at the car. They go under the car. They hit everything. And I'm freaking out. Facade's like trying to follow this U-Haul, and he's like telling me to like record. So I'm trying to bring my phone up, and I have like this little slider thing on the back to cover my camera. So I'm trying to do it. I'm recording myself. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing because I just woke up, and I'm trying to record this U-Haul to get the license plate number. We got it. I was able to like zoom in and like everything, and we got it. But it's like I was freaking out, but we couldn't keep following him because the pylon stabbed my tire, so we got a flat tire. So he's like following this guy, crossing into the normal lanes, crossing over 3 lanes, and we finally like get the video, and he pulls right off to like the side, and the tire's flat as ever. And we got the video. Then we had to call the cops, and we had to call AAA. Thank goodness we have AAA, and they were able to put my little donut on, and we still made it to the show. We still wrestled. But that was probably like the most scary moment, I guess you could say. But we were all safe. My car got fixed. We got tires. We actually ended up having to buy a tire before we drove home because it's an 8.5-hour drive for us. It's our longest drive that we do. And we had to buy a tire before we drove home. So the next day was a way later start than normal because we had to get this tire switched and then call an insurance. And yeah, that was actually, they just called me the other day because they still haven't nailed down the U-Haul, or it was either U-Haul or Enterprise, one of the two. They're trying to nail that down for them to like pay my deductible, which was like, my deductible is only like $100 whenever like road things happen. That's not my fault. And but $100 is $100. So yeah, that was like last March, and I'm still kind of dealing with it. Yeah, I would say that's my craziest in person like crazy story. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, and I'm glad it's not crazy bad, but it's crazy just in general, right? Like, wow.
It could have gone so much worse. It could have gone so bad.
Oh, very true, very true. But no, that's not. Yeah, that was awesome because that was an entertaining, like, not really on the sad side, but yeah, it was definitely wild.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's more scary, especially like being woken up. I was literally like, I don't know what's going on, and he's yelling and like trying to follow, and I'm like, oh my god.
Oh man, quick thinking.
Yes, that's not even like the only time that something weird with the car has happened going to XWW.
Oh really? Go for it. Let's hear it.
So another time we were riding with our friend Jay's car, and I was driving his car on this same road. It was whenever it was like 3 or 4 lanes, but like not the easy pass lane anymore. And I'm driving, and I'm like, this is like slowing down, and I'm like all the way in the fast lane. I'm a fast driver, and I'm like, this is going really slow, and I couldn't make it all the way over, so I just had to pull on the median side, which is like not where you ever pull. And the car just stopped. I'm like, what is going on with this car? And it was our friend's car, so like I didn't know what was happening. And the gauge on the gas was wrong. So we were out of gas. We ran out of gas, but it said I still had like a quarter tank of gas, which is like a decent amount of gas.
Yeah.
So we're like, what the hell are we gonna do? So we call Manny Mag. We're like, yo, we're trying to figure this out. We might be a little late. And so Fasad gets out of the car. I stay in the car. He's pushing. I'm like getting close, and we're trying to get closer to an exit. And then Jay's car runs in sandals. It's like Frogger. He's like running across the highway, goes up this ramp, buys a gas can, carries the gas back in sandals. We fill the car with that little bit of gas, which it was one of like, I hate the newer gas cans. I'm used to ride dirt bikes all the time, so we had like the hose and it would just pour right in. Now the new ones you have to twist and click, and annoying. So we didn't get a lot of gas into the car. So we were able to get enough to turn it on to get up to the gas station and actually fill it up. We still made it to the show. Everything went off great, but yeah, so literally the same road in North Carolina. I don't even know what highway that was, but there's always something on that road.
That road has bad juju. That's what it sounds like.
We're done with that. We've excelled past the bad juju of that road. But
awesome.
Yeah, 2 on the same highway going to the same show, but
that's
no
wild.
more of that.
All right, good deal. I appreciate the second one. That's always fun. That one's cool because like all this stuff involved, right? He's like, I'm gonna.
And can you imagine Fasad pushing this car, running down the highway, and like all neon? I'm just like trying to keep it straight.
I could imagine the onlookers just like, what is happening over here?
What is this man doing? And who is this man? What is this man?
So now let's get to the good stuff. So what would be one of your best road stories?
Best road stories. I feel like, as crazy as it sounds, I think I can't even put like on just one. I'm going to say like, in general, as insane as they are, they're the better ones where you're literally just driving, wrestling, driving halfway to a hotel, sleeping for like 2 minutes, driving super far, wrestling. Like whenever it's like those really long weekends, it's very intense and it's very stressful. But at the same time, I feel so accomplished. I love being, I call it #accomplished, when you get so much done in like this amount of time. So let's see, a recent one, I would say literally our travels going to Hawaii were pretty cool because we were at a show and we're always the last people to leave, no matter where we have to be the next morning. We're always the last people to leave. So we drove home. It was at PPW. I got to wrestle this girl, Zueli, who was actually my referee in Nepal whenever I wrestled on Kalapathar. So that was like a cool full circle moment. I got to wrestle her, had that match, got this black eye. I still have like a chip going on there. Not really sure. So then we drive home, shower, nap for like 0.2 seconds, drive to another wrestler's house who lives by the airport, and she let us leave our car there to like save hundreds of dollars on parking at the airport. Dropped us off, and we flew to Hawaii. Like that's like it's like boom, 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 like no time to chill. Like, and I love my chill time. I love my downtime. But like in those moments, I feel very accomplished, and I don't know. I like that. I like the stress and the planning of making sure all these trips work. So I think how do I say this? My good road trip is whenever I plan it out so good that it works.
No, I totally get it.
I know that's weird, and it's probably I know I probably have very specific stories, but in the moment I have no idea because there's a bunch. There's so many good and so many bad.
Yeah.
But and as a general, which nobody's probably answered this way ever, is literally planning something that is so insane that it works.
No, you are correct that no one has answered that way before. Everyone always has some kind of fun story, which is fine. And if you think of one while we're going, feel free because I'm all about it. Those are my favorite things. But yeah, that's actually what spawned me doing this whole thing is like, you know, when we're all at shows together and we just talk about some good times that happened. And I'm always like, I'm like, these are fun things. Like, you know, not all of them get crazy personal. So it's like, hey, you know, like if the random fan knew this, they just probably be like, man, that's so fun.
Yeah.
Like, you know, people play pranks on each other and stuff like that too. Like those are always just, you know, some of the funnest things you hear. So
Okay, I can say one. I can say one that like was one of these crazy weekend travels, but we had a day in the middle where we didn't have a show. So it was me, Facade, Jace Carr, and Zach Nydstrom. It's a Pittsburgh car. We drove down. I want to say this was like a trip where we drove all the way to Georgia. This was like during the COVID era, so it was like so really weird and just different. But I think we had 3 shows booked, but there was a day in the middle that we didn't have anything. So we wrestled somewhere deep in Tennessee. We wrestled in Georgia, and I forget what the one on the way home was, but there was a day in between. And another wrestler has their own promotion. He's like, we're like, hey, we're in the area. Can we be on your show? And he's like, I mean, it's the day of the show. And we're like, that's fine. We just like really want to we just want to work. We just want to do something. We don't want to just waste the whole day. We'll just wrestle ourselves. So the 4 of us were in a match. It was me and Facade versus Jace Carr and Zach Nydstrom. But to switch it up, because me and Jace Carr had the same color gear, like our gear matched so perfectly. When the match started, I was like, hold up, let's switch things up. And I went with Jace Carr, and Facade and Nydstrom were on the team together. So people hated those two because they loved us. And then they didn't know what to do whenever I was like, hey, let's switch teams. So I took all the heat. I got beat up, obviously. But it was a fun, little weird, on the fly, like randomly that day, we're like, hey, let's have a match together because this guy's going to let us wrestle on his show. And that was like the only time I ever wrestled without my mouth guard. I couldn't find it. Scariest thing ever. Because I don't know, pretty much everybody knows these are fake teeth. I got dropped on concrete in college, so whole face mangled thing. So I always wear this massive mouth guard to protect my like $80,000 teeth right here. And I didn't have it in. And I thankfully trusted the guys. I trust Facade and I trusted Zach. The scariest move that I took, though, was a leg drop from Nydstrom. But it was safe. He was safe with it. But I was like a big man, very big, tall man, coming with his leg. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to die. AKA my teeth are going to die. But I was safe. And
awesome.
The funny thing after this match, oh my God, I almost hit somebody. So we're coming out. It's a tiny little building, a short building. I could barely do my rope walk crossbody. I think Facade still did his because he'll do it anywhere. So match is over. Intermission happens. We're coming through the crowd. It's a small building, so we're just like squeezing through. And somebody grabs my butt, and I'm like, I turned with like a fist, and it's this little old lady, and I'm like, I said, you don't do that. I like got in her face. I said, you don't do that. I was like, Mom, I almost punched a little old lady.
Oh man.
And she's like, it's fine. I'm like, no, it's not fine. You, like, I don't care, man, woman, you don't touch somebody else unwanted, especially on the butt.
Yeah.
I'm like,
High five. You always
no.
go for the high
Yeah.
five. Like
I'm
that's
a
all.
big high fiver, fist pump.
Yeah.
Like, don't touch me. I hate touching. I'm not a touchy person. I know I wrestle. It's totally different in there. It's like it's just a total different world. But I'm not a I'm not a touchy feely person.
I understand that. I hear you.
And I turn. I'm like, you don't do that. You don't do that.
Oh man, that's wild. No, that's really neat. I've never seen someone switch partners in the beginning of a match. That would have been I would probably been laughing pretty hard at something like that.
It was because like, and I was the one that had to talk. And like, my big thing is like, I don't like talking on the mic, but I'll force myself into a position where I have to. Like, I'll suggest something so that I have to just get over the fear. And that day I was like, guys, we should do the switch. Like, we have the same gear. Like, me and Facade didn't even have the same gear that weekend. So, like, it just made sense. Like, obviously, we're the team, and people are like, yay, we love you. Boo, we hate them. And then, like, to make them be like, wait, what? And my reasoning was, I'm like, we have the same gear. We should be the team. Like, this makes sense. And so people are like, okay. And I think they kind of liked us a little bit more than Facade and Nydstrom, but like they still love Facade, but like still really hated Nydstrom and kind of ended up liking Jay's car just because he ended up teaming with me. So
That's funny.
It was a fun little like random as heck.
Yeah.
That's wrestling. You never know what's gonna happen.
I like the idea of playing with the crowd's emotions though. They're like, well, what are we gonna do now? Like
it's like how do we hate you? Oh my gosh, in that match, Nydstrom got a crazy black eye, and the next morning, I forget what show we were at, but we had a little bit of time, and me and him went to Walmart and bought him an eye patch. Because whatever move he took, I think it was like the Tampa Twist or something. I don't know what it was called, but he got a black eye. And so we went and bought an eye patch, and he played it off. He wore the eye patch, showed up to the show. I forget if he wore it in his match or not, but definitely went to Walmart and bought an eye patch.
Oh man, that's funny.
That Walmart pharmacy, they really come through a lot.
I can imagine. It's funny that you had mentioned your mouth guard. Like, my son is amateur wrestling, and I was like, hey, dude, I'm like, we're starting this now. Like, he's 11, and I was like, you're learning this now. I'm like, this is always in your mouth. Like, especially because right now he has braces too. So I'm like, dude,
all tore up.
Yeah. I was like, trust me, you'll thank me later. I wore one when I did it. You should wear one too. Like, we had to keep these things.
It's beneficial. And at first, whenever I was wearing the mouth guard, I would come out with it, and everybody's like, your smile is like part of you. So like you're taking that away instantly. And I'm like, oh. And then I built up to come out with it. Like I just have it set in my gear somewhere after I do all my poses and everything. I used to like sneak it in. And now I make it a big thing. I do safety first, and then I put it in.
Oh yeah.
It's like, it's not a thing unless you're like a grappler or like a fighter. Like, and I'm not like a fighter. So like, it doesn't make sense for me to wear a mouth guard, but I have to do it for my protection and the cost. These teeth are broken right now anyway, so I have to get new ones. But it's like $11,000, so I'm protecting them as long as I can.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, no, and I mean, I think you never know in a match when something's going to happen like that, though, right? Yeah. You could take a lot of mouth damage from just a clothesline.
I didn't even know this when I got this. It was from a TKO. Like, what? I do it all the time, and that one time.
Yeah.
And it was just like a knock, and I'm like, oh, that hurt. And then it was tiny. It was literally this size, like this color, whenever it first happened. And then if you go on my social media, I put a video up of like the daily change. And I had a black eye the entire time in Hawaii. So people were like, and me and Fatad are traveling, and we're going through all these different cities and these airplanes, and people are just looking at us like, I'm sure they had some crazy thoughts of what was going on, but
I'm sure.
# wrestling.
I hear you. All right, so for the fun part, this is one of the parts that I just really enjoy because our questions are silly and they're supposed to just bring a little bit of fun.
Sure.
So when you travel, where's your go-to place to eat?
It sounds crazy, but Burger King. Literally, so we rotate through. Like we eat pretty well. We work for a company, Sustain Nutrition. It's based here in Pittsburgh, and we do meal prep with them. So we eat very well during the week, but on the weekends it just obviously gets crazy. And going to a show, we either stop at Burger King or Arby's. Those are the two on the way to the show, which you can eat pretty good there. I get a kids meal every time. I have so many kids meals toys. If anybody needs any, I have a bunch.
You should put them on your merch table.
No, that's too much. We already have literally for every price range, every person, we have anything for anybody.
That's true.
We couldn't add anything else at this point. But yeah, so those are our two go-tos on the way there, or just like a Sheetz or a Wawa or a Rutter's kind of deal.
Yeah.
Or if we're in the area, Buc-ee's. Post show, if anything is open, which prior to pandemic, this was a lot easier. We would go to a diner. We love going to just diners that we see on the drive, but a lot are closed now by the time we leave, or just there aren't any that are actually 24/7 anymore. So that kind of failed. And then anytime we're at NGW, we party bowl it up at Waffle House.
Nice.
That's an all. I'm pretty sure we really saved Waffle House now strictly for NGW. So we see it a lot more because they are 24/7.
Yep.
But we party bowl it up at NGW.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, like a lot of people, it's the Sheetz or the Waffle House or Wawa, depending on the area.
Mm-hmm.
Buc-ee's is pretty popular as well. But yeah, you shot off with the BK first, and that's I think that might be one of the first times I think BK, and you're episode 35. So yeah, I
like to be the first for a lot of things. I'm the first first woman's match for the highest elevation pro wrestling match. I like to be the first.
That's cool. Hey, I don't blame you. And that one was awesome. We've talked about that several times, and you've done that on a lot bigger pod than this one. So we'll let everyone go watch it there. You should check out the Jericho podcast that Dani was on, where she talked about that. It's awesome.
Very fun. That was a cool experience. Yes. Both Nepal and being on with Jericho.
Oh yeah. I bet. I was like, I remember when I saw you, and I was like, I can't believe it. Yeah. So yeah, that was so cool. But yeah, Bojack was telling me, he was like, you should tally like all the different places that people say for eating, and I was like, man, I need to do that, so I'm gonna do that, and then we can put a counter on stuff. I
tally so many here. Where did I put it? I think I put it away already. I had just updated my I have it in a notebook, in a little flip thing, and online, so I have it everywhere in case one thing gets lost or another. It's everything that I've done in wrestling.
Oh,
like the states, the countries, the promotions, the titles, the matches, who wins, who loses, all of that jazz. I have everything mapped out, and I just mapped out because I'm really far behind. I still have to do all my wrist gauntlets. I have to write on all those for like the last 30 matches. But I tally everything, and I just found out I've hit 25 states so far.
Nice.
So that's a fun tally that I just realized. And I think 79 promotions in my 5 years is in October. So
oh man, that is so awesome. Yes. There's an app, I can't remember what it's called. I'll have to find out and I'll get it to you, where like it'll track your like plane travel and tell you how many miles you've done and everything, and it just calculates it for you.
That's pretty cool. That'd be a fun one to do. Because I mean, I got to go to like Thailand, Russia, Nepal. That's really it with flying for out of the country. But there's been quite a good amount of flights within the U.S. for wrestling specifically.
Definitely, yeah. I'll see if I can get that information for you, because then it's just like, hey, I just got to make sure you plug in whatever you need to plug in there, and it'll give
Yeah.
you everything, and then so that'll be cool. All
I
right.
write all my miles in my car. I have 190,000 miles on my car, which I bought brand new 4 years ago.
Oh wow.
Because I have to like do it for tax purposes
Oh yeah.
to like turn in all the taxes. But yeah, I calculate that every year. So I have the amount of miles that I drive, but I didn't ever calculate
Yeah.
the amount of miles that I've flown.
Yeah, and they give us fun information too. Like, you've traveled enough miles to circle the Earth like 3 times, or like, yeah, like,
That would be a cool
so
fact to know. How
yeah,
many?
like little random stuff like that. Yeah, I'll definitely look that up and get it to you.
Heck yeah.
The next question is, who is your favorite person to wrestle? And it doesn't just have to be one person. We've had many people say many people.
Favorite person to wrestle? I always have a great time wrestling Katie Arquette. I feel like we've had a long history from the beginning, and we've had singles matches, multi-man matches, tag matches with different partners, both her and myself. And right now at this point, I have to say Katie Arquette would be my
Awesome.
favorite. Yeah. Like, I mean, there's definitely more, and there is like, Taylor Rising. We just wrestled her in a tag match up in Canada for Top Tier 2 weeks ago. And that was the first time we ever met. And we had like this much time before the match, and everything, like we had really good chemistry for like just meeting each other, not really knowing, like literally it was pretty much called in the ring. I'll just put it out there. It was a tag match. So, but like I felt really good about it, and like I'm excited to have a singles match with her. So just there's sometimes you just have really, really good chemistry with people, and it just whatever you do, it just works. But overall, over all the years, I would say I have the most fun and most chemistry with Katie.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Because you were quick on them. You were like, you know what? This person. So yeah. So that's just, that gives it to you right there. So oh, you know what? It's funny. I skipped a question. So we'll go to that. I got a 2-part question for you that I usually ask second. And that is, who was your first favorite wrestler and who is your current favorite wrestler? It could be the same person, but I know like a lot of us change over time. So
I'll probably get heat for this, but I don't have a favorite wrestler because I got into wrestling in a very obscure way. Like I wasn't a fan. I didn't even know it existed really. Like I knew what WWE was. I knew who John Cena was. I knew who Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan. Like I knew who all of them were, but until I met Facade, I was not interested in wrestling at all. So I got into wrestling because of Facade. So like he was my first ever match that I ever saw. And he teamed with Shane Helms, and Molly Holly was their manager. She came out of retirement to manage them down at Remix Pro. So that was my first ever match. So I'd have to say my first ever wrestler that I liked was Facade. He's wild. He's a wild character and crazy in the ring. But I honestly don't have like a favorite. I find enjoyment of getting to wrestle new people all the time, both on the indies and people that have been in the business forever, and just being around them. And a lot of people that I like, I got to manage Facade when he wrestled them. So like Matt Hardy, he was tag champs with Matt Hardy at Remix Pro. He got to do a lot of really cool things at Remix. But I can't say that I have a favorite. I like different things from different people at different times and different moments based on what I'm feeling. So I don't have a favorite. I'm not like die hard this person, die hard that person. Like I don't know a full biography of anybody. Like I find out new matches from different people all the time. So I just have to say, I just go with the flow. I don't have a favorite wrestler. I know that's gonna, people are gonna be like, oh, you're you suck. You're not like a wrestling fan.
No,
I am a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
I'm just not like, that's my favorite person.
Yep.
Because
No.
I might like your match this week, and then I like this person's match that week. Like, or I might find a really old match that somebody sent me to watch, and I'm like, wow, that is really, really cool.
Yeah. No, I'm
So
with
I
you.
know that's again, this whole interview is all weird answers.
Hey, I'm for it, you know? I mean, when I asked Drew Hood who his favorite wrestler was, he said himself. So, you know, we get those answers. And I loved it, by the way. I was like, you know what? That is very on point for Drew. I was like, I'm for this answer. So, yeah, it's great. All right. I know I'm almost positive these next two will be fun. So, do you have a Ricky Morton story?
Ricky, yes. So like I have so many just he's just so fun.
Exactly.
And he's so straight to the point, whether you want to hear what he has to say or not. When was the first time? I don't know any specific. I remember he was down there. So the first time I got to go to School of Morton, that was again on a random road trip, and we're like, hey, let's swing by. Let's see if we can wrestle. And we got to wrestle, and I got to wrestle, and he was there. And I remember there was a bunch of dogs there for, I think, just wrestlers had their animals with them. And I think that was one of the first times I got to meet Ricky. But he always just like pulls me aside and like gives critiques and just speaks the truth. He's just an honest man, and whether you like what he has to say or not, take it to heart, don't take it to heart, but listen to it and reflect on it. That's what I'll say about Ricky. But no, I love seeing him. He's so fun.
Oh yeah, he's good. He's great people. I adore him. That's why he's one of my questions, because there's just so many. I mean, I've had so many interactions with him that are just hilarious, and I'm like, if he's doing this with me,
he has great stories, really good, funny stories.
Oh yeah, I was like, I can't imagine what he's doing like in the locker room or when he's talking to the other guys or during training. So that's why he's part of the questions.
I've never tried. That would be. Oh shoot. Okay, quick. I did do one of his seminars over COVID. It just triggered. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know what I'm talking about. So we did Ricky's seminar, and I was the only girl. A lot of times I'm the only girl at a seminar, which is fine. And he made me ref, and I've never refed at that point. I'm like, because again, I got into wrestling really weird. My training was, everything was just really weird about my entire wrestling career. So Ricky's like, you can wrestle, or you can ref, that's fine. And I'm like, ooh. I was like, as a manager, I know exactly what to tell the ref not to do and to do, and yell at him because whatever's happening in the ring. But whenever I'm the ref, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know any of the rules. I don't know what I need to, like, I don't know anything. I don't even know how to get on, like, in that moment, I knew how to do nothing. It was fine. I refed a couple matches, and they were only like 3 to 5 minute matches just during a seminar. So, like, it was fine. But Ricky Morton is the first person to ever make me ref.
That's cool. I love it. I love it. I can hear him saying it too. Like, you're doing it. Like,
he's just so nonchalant. I was like, oh, okay.
I'm with that.
Blinking out internally.
So the next one is, do you have a George South story?
Honestly, not really. No,
Really?
I've been in a bunch of locker rooms with him, but I couldn't say anything crazy. Like, I don't have any crazy stories or like one-on-one, like personal interactions. So unfortunately, I don't, but
I was almost
I know a lot of people do, but
yeah.
I just personally don't.
I got you. Not a problem. So the next one, which, because how you said you didn't watch wrestling back in the day, like you got in a different way. My big question is probably not that big of a question.
What is the question?
Is if you can only watch one wrestling match for the rest of your life.
Oh. When he watches it, he's gonna be so mad at this. I don't have one. I don't. I don't. I'm sure a lot of people will be like, WrestleMania this or that, or this from Japan. Like, I don't.
I had a feeling
I don't.
I was like, I'm just gonna save it anyway, and we're gonna tap.
So many people are probably gonna be so mad at me about that, but I think it's okay that everybody has a different upbringing of wrestling. I think it's okay that everybody has a different way of going about their wrestling career, and it's okay as long as you're not hurting anybody, as long as you're still trying to do better at your craft day in, day out. Like, it's okay to not have the same exact way of passion for what you're doing.
No, 100%. I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with that. You're amazing. Like, I watch you wrestle.
Thank you.
I watch. I mean, I go to like almost, it's like 6 to 8 events a month. So I watch
That's a lot.
Yeah, I watch a lot of people. Many indie wrestlers, many just their first. I've seen people from their first match to their 10th match. I've seen guys who've been doing this for 20 plus years. And so I see a lot. And yeah, like when the first time I saw you wrestle, and I was like, she is so entertaining. Like, I enjoyed myself. And I was like,
okay,
so there you go. And then that's what I said. Like, here we are 3 years later. And I'm like, I keep up with you every time. I know you're coming to town. I'm like, I got to be there.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, gonna drive to Charleston, right? You're gonna be there. I'm like, I'm going to Charleston. Like,
so we have a show in Michigan. We're flying up to Michigan, then we're flying to South Carolina that morning for that show.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I love working at OSCW.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. It's like a whole family, like both the roster and the fans that show up to the show. Like, it's just fun.
Exactly. So that was really my last one. Then I always like to give you guys the opportunity to tell everyone where they can find you.
You can find me. I made it my name. Where are we at? Here we go. Right there. This is hard. Right there. Everything is at Real Dani Mo. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, everything. I'm not great at TikTok, so don't think that there's a bunch there. But I'm highly on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that jazz. So anything you want is right there. Or you can just, if you go into YouTube, you can type Real Dani Mo. I have a bunch of matches up. Then also, if you just search Dani Mo, more matches will come up too. So if you haven't seen me and you want to see me, go on YouTube.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, we're gonna plaster them all across the bottom. So when we get it going, like the actual episodes out, like all of our stuff's gonna be there, so everyone knows where to find you.
Yeah.
And then personally, I don't normally do this, but because it's you and it's based on a personal interaction we've had that I'm proud of because you kind of inspired me. I want to show it to you. So move my chair out the way because I'm gonna have to stand up to do this one. So at one of our shows that we were at, it was the Bubba Amick show. I bought this from you and Facade. And it was an extra large. And at the time, I was not an extra large. And I told you that I'm buying it anyway because I'm going to make it work. And
oh man.
So that wasn't what? That was probably...
That was February, I believe.
Yeah. So it wasn't that long ago.
Literally feels like yesterday.
Yep. I am 100%.
Yeah. That's
amazing.
So exciting.
So yeah, it was very much one of those things where I said, I'm going to make it happen because we talked about it and you guys were like, yo, you can do it. You can do it 100%. Yeah. So I made it happen.
That's so exciting.
Yep. Yep.
Wow. And those are special edition. There was only like 10 of those made.
Exactly. And that's why I was like, I am buying this. I was like, I'm going to make it work because this thing is awesome.
That's really, really cool. I'm very proud of you.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And I got my dreads from the last time we talked. So.
I was going to say that looks different when you just pulled all of those forward. Yeah, I don't think that's what your hair looked like before. No,
so
I like it. Okay.
Yep.
Very fun.
Yeah, I've been saving this for a while. Like I fit into it last month and I was like, I almost messaged you and I was like, you know what? I got a better idea.
We'll do it right here. This is better. This is better than just like a message. Hey, this fits. No, this is virtual.
Yeah.
Let's do a virtual high five.
Oh, definitely.
And it's just in time for like the cooler weather.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Oh, it's going to be part of the repertoire to go along with what I wear when I'm going to shows and stuff for sure.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so that's really all I have on the pod. I like just the fun stories is what I like to do. So I appreciate you so much for being on here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely. And I will be seeing you. I guess it's the end of. I think it might be the end of the next month is the next one, unless you're coming around here sometime soon.
Just OSCW, and that's the first weekend of October. So I think that's like 3 weeks or 4 weeks.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness, because time's moving that fast. Yeah.
So literally, it's like my birthday's in 2 weeks, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And then it's OSCW, and then all this. October's crazy. I cannot wait to announce everything for October.
Awesome. I look forward to it. I'll be following it for sure.
All right.
Well, enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yep. We'll hang out soon. All right.
See ya.